start here. Yeah, well, that always throws me off. It's so official.
It is.
With such an unfriendly voice.
It's like, gosh, killing the vibe. Yeah, that is really hard to navigate.
Have you guys had similar issues with, well, I know Marina, in the past, you've let go of clients, right?
Yeah, not so proactively. Like, she ghosted me, so I sent her a formal email document just like saying like our time is no longer together. And then like I basically just sent her like not a cease and desist. I can't think of the word, but like a contract dissolving our contract of like, you don't need to sign this. This is just me telling you that I'm not working with you anymore and you have no financial obligations to me. But I did it mostly because I was, like you were saying, I was like driving myself crazy, trying to contact her. And I was like, this isn't worth my time. I didn't enjoy working with her in the first place. I didn't vet her well enough. She's one of my first clients, and she found me on Instagram, and I was just so thrilled that someone found me and wanted to work with me that I was like, great, I can make this work. I couldn't. That's fine. Yeah. And so I ended up just breaking up with her after she clearly left. Like, she was clearly gone, and I was like, well, I'm just going to make it official. And that was an important lesson of vetting clients that I'm still learning, because it's hard to know what questions to ask until you get into a situation where you're like, oh, I should have asked about this.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the issues I am trying to listen to my intuition more right from the get-go. Like this particular client who I'm just going to go ahead and say it, she's ghosting me today, right? And like the communication was like very sporadic, intermittent. And then she also has said, right, like, oh, sorry, I didn't respond, because as soon as I sent out the inquiry, I started feeling anxiety around organizing. So I think my question to myself and to this group is like, how do we, like, when those flags are raised, whether they're red or orange or yellow flags, right? So like, what do we do so that we don't continue to like expend all this energy when in fact, like from the outset, our intuition, our gut's already telling us like something's a little off?
I think,
are there like professional kind of like gentle questions we can ask our clients to get them to recognize that maybe now is not the right time?
Yeah, I think I've tried to start asking, like, what are you looking for? What are you hoping to get out of this? And then when I'm depending on the client and hearing their project goals, I've been asking, like, are you ready to make this time commitment? And I've also,
that's a good question.
Yeah, should have asked it with that woman before. But yeah, I think that, and also because from like my coaching is more digital, so it's like, I don't know, I was gonna say it's easier to get ghosted. Actually, that's not true. You clearly getting ghosted. But I think I always ask my clients, how do you prefer to be contacted? And just so you know, I can't chase after you. So if I don't hear from you, like, that's your lost time. I've only said it to one client, and he's a family friend, so like I wasn't afraid to tell him. So it's different with like, but it's like a practice thing. So I think setting those clear boundaries of communication and expectations of like, yeah, I'm not coming in to just clean your house for you. we are going to go through this process together. You need to be present. And if it's not the right time, let's schedule for a few months out, or let's talk about why it's not the right time.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
that's,
we are obligers. And so at least for me, I forget that I'm allowed to have an opinion and like also have needs back. And
totally.
like I need to be obliged also.
Right.
Which I'm just realizing as I like say this to you, this coffee's hitting hard, ready to bust.
If I can also add, I'm a recovering obliger. That's what I like to say. um, I think though, working in sales for so long and having a huge commute for several years, I really had to learn more about and respecting my boundaries. And so, and it's funny because I've noticed that even recently with my business, kind of similar to Marina's experience, I had a potential client reach out to me out of the blue on Instagram. We had no mutual friends. I was like, all right, cool. She just randomly found me. She has a decent following, over like 10,000 followers. She's like kind of like a mommy blog or whatever. And she's like she was like selling some items like legging type stuff for a brand, and she was wanting ads for it. I was like, cool, here are my rates. Let me know when you're available. And we'll like schedule a call. And she was very like, oh, I can give you a call right now. And I was like, oh, it doesn't work for me, but let me know what your schedule looks like these days. And she never got back to me. And that was for me a red flag of, she's not going to respect my time. I'm giving her clear times and dates when I'm available. She's not going to respect my time, potentially working with her. So that's always a red flag for me, is if somebody just wants to spontaneously talk to you right then and there, it's like, sometimes that can be helpful, but no, yeah, exactly. Like it's oftentimes a warning flag, a red flag. And so I always am very clear and transparent of like, here's my availability. Let me know which one of these 3 windows works for you. And if not, we can figure out another time. And, depending upon the conversation, like, she wanted just like an assessment, like what would, look like for the flow of the project. And I followed up with her like a week later to say, hey, just checking in. It seemed like, we weren't able to find a time last week. Does this week look better? And she just never got back to me. So to me, that was a sign of like, she is slammed. She probably does not even have time to clearly work with me. So the work that I could do for her, it probably wouldn't go as well for her expectations because she can't even focus. So, yeah, I think it's good that you're trying to find what that looks like for you right now. And it is definitely like a learn as you go kind of process as well. I hope that's helpful. I feel like I rambled a little bit.
No, that was really helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what I have refused to admit for a while is that like these phone consultations before the first organizing session are in fact necessary and valuable, and they need to be included as part of the vetting process. I think for so long I'd had like success with like clients just being like, hey, they'll find me on the platform Thumbtack and I'll give my availability, and they're like, great, that works, and I'll show up and things just like run from there, they run really smoothly. And I think I just kind of gotten so used to that I started to believe that these like pre-session consultations were not necessary. But I mean, the ideal client is not going to be turned off, right, by a clarifying call. And the client that's not a good match, they will, I guess, like reveal what their true like priorities are during that call, or if we never make it to that call, then that's pretty clear too. So
yeah, and it's not like an end all situation. Like it might be the kind of thing where you follow up a week from now and say, hey, like, it seemed like we had a hard time connecting last week. Does this week work better for you, or should I follow up with you in a couple months or so? Or like a time before the holidays, maybe like something like very specific, and adding that kind of reference for them and clarity. Sometimes it's like, you just never know what's going on in their life,
yeah.
It's always something that like,
yeah, I really like that. I think.
Yeah. Go on. I think you're cutting out a little bit, Monica.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Kelly, thank you. That's like super helpful. I love that language of like, it seems like we had a hard time connecting. Is next week better? And just leave it at that. I don't need to keep like chasing them. I love giving them like a reference of like before the holidays, etc., so that it's not left totally open-ended.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's where I've found I needed a lot of support. It's just like how to not sound like I'm upset with a client, and just like, continue to propose solutions without letting it drain me of my time and spirit. So that's, it's invaluable advice. Thanks, guys.
Welcome. How about we jump into some wins over the last couple of weeks? I haven't seen or heard Sasha yet, so I'm just gonna pick you. Are you there, Sasha?
Welcome, I'm here.
Hi.
I was running a bit late because I was just finishing my day shift at work, so I needed to finish up that. And if you want to start with wins, then I suggest we'll start with someone else, because there are currently none.
No, you.
Excuse me, Sasha, you showed up. So this is like a huge win.
Okay,
Is that you?
there you go. I showed up. No, it's hard to define a win right now because work is really stressful, and working on my content at the same time takes up a lot of my headspace. Plus trying to find an apartment and moving out of from temp apartment to temp apartment. It's stressful with packing and moving and packing and moving and searching and all of that at the same time, where you have a job and you have another job on the side and you're trying to find the next job in a different country. All of that doesn't leave much time for anything else. So wins, yeah, probably none right now, other than I'm here and I'm still awake, but I think that's it.
Yeah, I remember the last time we were messaging, you were like having a hard time sleeping. She joins us. There we go. Are Are you sleeping any better from last week, Sasha?
No,
Oh no. Oh.
I
I want to see your beautiful face, but I know you won't show us. So
yeah, and the connection here is terrible. I was in 3 meetings at work today, and the Wi-Fi cut off. The Wi-Fi got disabled, and it's like just disappeared from a meeting with 20 people. It's like fuck. And this has been in this place so often that there's just no connection. Then I'm trying to do it with my phone, no connection, no cell service either. And this place is horrible. But yeah, that's another reason why we're trying to find a different place and move out from here.
Well, I think it's a win that you guys are trying to transition to a more steady and stable environment. It sounds like that sounds like a win, even if it's like a stressful process.
Well, let me be clear. This is a transition into a different temporary apartment. So we're moving in 2 weeks to apartment for another week. Then we'll move after a week for another 2 weeks. And that's our move schedule for the next 4 weeks. And I don't know how that's gonna look after that. So much to a stable life.
It's hard. Is there
but
anything
yeah.
you're looking forward to right now?
I'm looking forward to relocating back to California, and everything except one thing is done, and that is the visa situation. And this is the last thing I need to figure out, because I would get a visa, but only to stay in the country. This visa wouldn't qualify me for a work permit. And without the work permit, what am I gonna do? So this is not an option if we move and I'm not allowed to work. And then I don't have that to look forward to anymore. So I'm currently figuring out what could I do that allows me to work while I'm with that visa that technically doesn't allow me to work.
That's tough.
Is it that you can't work in a US based job? Could you work remote for a different country's company? I don't know. I don't know the rules.
Yeah, that's one option I was looking at, to work for a European job while I'm there. But that would mean even if they allow me to work remotely, that I work night shifts and I'm sleeping throughout the day in order to mix the 9-hour time difference.
That's
Plus, there's a second problem that most European companies require you to be at least in the same country than the company for tax and legal reasons. So technically, option viability low. And the other option would be to find a company in the US who sponsors me for a job, meaning providing me with a work visa. But I also see that not very realistic right now.
And you work with Apple. Is there a way that is there like a way? Because they're an American company, right?
True, but I'm hired for Apple Iberia, so Apple Europe.
Dang
and
it.
Even though I'm working remotely right now, it's only because of COVID and the office is not ready yet. As soon as they open the office, I have to go to the office, and they wouldn't even allow me to work remotely from Europe anywhere. I have to be in the office. So working for that job and being remote in Europe is not even an option. Plus, what they're paying here in Spain, if I consider that job living in LA, I wouldn't even cover anything. So that's another difference. So if any of y'all are sponsoring work visas right now, or know anyone who wants to sponsor a work visa, I'm open to work.
Yeah. Sasha, are we connected on LinkedIn?
I don't know.
Are you on LinkedIn?
I barely use it.
Okay. I'm just thinking, I randomly know a lot of people. So I'm like, who do I know who's hiring? Okay, we'll talk later. I don't want to
Okay.
take up all your time, but I'll start
One,
thinking.
yeah, one thing on timing too. I haven't been using the timer yet just because I have been enjoying the natural flow of things a bit today.
I'm
but I
into
am a
it as
little
well.
Okay, good. How's everybody doing on time? Do you guys think we could go to like 10:30? Is that possible? Or like, okay.
So I'm gonna jump out in about 20 minutes because I have a lawyer.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted you to go on first too, Sasha. I just wasn't sure of what your availability looks like. Lawyer stuff is always annoying. Okay. Can I transition to somebody else for wins now? Tala.
So my wins, I texted you guys earlier this week in the group. It's just been a really odd week emotionally. However, I did get another month off for work.
Woo!
So yeah, I
Awesome.
wasn't expecting it. I was expecting like maybe 2 more weeks.
You cut out a little bit, babe. You there?
I'm pretty excited, but Chris driving. Sorry. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just driving home through the canyon, so it keeps getting cut out. But my other win is I have a deadline for my website like today. So my ass is in gear to get that done. Chris, who's doing my website, was like, I really want to get this wrapped up before the end of this week.
It's like, bitch, I'm tired of working on this.
Yeah, pretty much. So I took a little bit of time yesterday to work on it. I had a lot of inspiration and some stuff that I want to get together left on my website. So yeah, I would say those are my 2 wins this week. I mean, I've been consistently working out, but yeah, I think those are like the 2 main things. So I'm really looking forward to taking some time today to just wrap things up, even if it's not perfect. So those are my wins.
I love hearing that. Even if it's not perfect, just get it up. Just get it out.
Yeah, that's literally how I lead my life. It's not perfect. We're still doing it. Tala, I made you send me your website last week, 2 weeks ago, because I was going to show my friend Alex, and I never had a chance to show her, but I looked at it and I think it looks amazing. So just a boost from a viewer.
Thank
Tala,
you.
could you send the link to our group chat?
Yeah, I'll send it to you guys when I get home. I do want to tell you guys there's 2 more pages I'm actually going to add. So I'm going to add, I think I talked to a couple of you. I did, Monica, I don't know if you know this, but I did like workout classes at the beginning of COVID just for like friends and stuff, like virtual ones. So I figured that I'd actually make it part of my offering, and I'm going to give like current and past clients like 50% off workout packages. It'll either be like mindfulness or movement is what I'm going to call it, like the movement or mindfulness series. So, but yeah, I'm happy to send it to you guys. And I'd love any feedback too, like in terms of language. And if you guys, it's geared towards parents. So if you guys know parents that are interested in just like looking at it, you don't have to obviously like force them to buy anything, which would be great. But just any feedback from a different perspective would be much appreciated too. So I'll send that over to you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. And as soon as your website goes live, I'm definitely going to share it on Facebook, because like I know so many more like families on there that might be interested in like have kids. So
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you.
welcome. Those are big wins. I hope you're proud of yourself. Monica, what are your wins?
My wins are, so the last time we spoke, I think I just told you that I was beginning a partnership with a moving concierge service. And so since then I've worked with their clients and that went so well. Like this woman was just like this dream client. I loved her energy. Like I could just like move into her space and just like live in her bathroom and I'd be like happy. Like, be a happy little house plant. But yeah, so that went really well. And the client also like raved about me with the moving concierge service. And they have booked me for like two more projects taking place mid-month and at the end of October. So I'm really just like grateful and excited about that. And yeah, like I think they, like when we're talking about like how like vetting clients, attracting the ideal client, like I think there's just like so much alignment as far as like, you know, their ideal client and mine. And so it's nice that there's this concierge service that's pre-vetting the clients for me. So that's a big win. And yeah, like earlier this week, I worked with my other like, you know, favorite clients. And they're just like, we have been telling everybody about you. So like it just, it's such a mood booster. I love it.
That's incredible. That's truly an amazing feeling. Like that's such good news. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Marina.
Oh my God. Okay. One, the coffee that I just drank like hit hard and I'm screaming over here for all of your wins. These are huge. And in listening to your wins, it helped me realize some of my wins because I didn't have any at the start of this call. So I think a big win for me is that I'm taking bigger breaks. I took this whole week off of Instagram and it has been hugely helpful for getting like, since I was traveling and dealing with a lot of stuff, like taking this week off has been helpful in just coming home to my brain and helping me see like, oh yeah, I really don't need to be on Instagram that much. I can still use it as a tool and not live on it, which I think when we're running our businesses, we feel like on it, it feels like, oh, we have to be on it all the time, just in case. That's a lie that Steve Jobs is trying to tell us. Or Mark or whoever is on Instagram.
It's Mark.
It's Mark.
It's not my boss.
The
Thank
Zuck.
you.
The Zuck. Okay, and so I'm also making website progress. I also work with Tala's guy, Chris, and he was like, hey, so he's like, he's great, but he's also like, yeah, let's get this going. Tala, I did not hear you.
I think it's Monica.
Oh, Monica, someone's talking, I can't hear them.
It's not me. It's Tala. Well, it's not me.
I just made a really lame joke and I said it's Tom from MySpace.
From MySpace.
So we can just move on. Like,
no, we like it. Tom's calling
need
us.
to address that.
Okay. Another big win, I guess, is that I have a potential client who's like an acquaintance who I don't know if she is going to end up working with me or not, but her requests of what her needs were helped me develop like I've been wanting to offer accountability coaching, which is like less hands-on, but something I'm still good at and supportive of. And so that was kind of what she was looking for. And that helped me develop a package for that. So that's a win because I didn't know how to offer that before. I'm getting better at asking for help and validation and like asking for things when I'm having a hard time. And next week I'm going to be in LA to watch Tallest Cats and and to apartment neighborhood hunt with my future roommate. He's coming to town and we're going to be on the hunt and I'm really excited. So those are all my wins.
Oh my God. LA's like really happening. And that like makes me really excited for you.
It's not happening. I'm coming for it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, being back east and being home was really, I think I had a really healing trip. Like it was helpful, but also I had this like panic again where I was like, oh my God, should I be back east? Like I have most of my family here, but I don't like being back here. I had like I sobbed when I got home to California. Like my mom picked me up at the airport and she was like, how was your trip? And I was like, I don't want to go anymore, and just like sobbed. So I'm really excited to put roots down in LA because I feel like that's what I was starting to do. And then it got yanked up from COVID. And I've just been in this like disoriented transitionary period for over a year and it's hard. So I'm pumped for LA.
Yay. And now we'll get to hang out more often.
Yeah, in person.
Yeah.
No more Zoom. Also, Kelly, when we hang out, can we make your cats that rocket ship car thing that I sent you a picture of?
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Awesome. That's a win. Now you can share your wins.
I will take very little time because I know Sasha's got like maybe 10 minutes. So my wins, I organized an entire program for my business to launch for winter. I launched a live event for it on Friday to like inform people on the structure of it. It's like a 6-week program. And I've been spending a lot of time on the assets for it, which whether people actually enroll or not, I will still have that information available to use for clients later on. So my goal is with that program is to offer services to manage clients still, and then 2 different marketing coaching programs. So really like targeting small business owners and like to be small business owners. Ryan and I have been in the thick of our annual Halloween short film schedule. So we've been shooting shorts. We shot basically since Saturday. We've been shooting several days for his, and it's just been like really hard to manage, but exciting too. And then we're shooting my short film on Sunday. And then our friend, part of Austin's, one of our mutual creative friends, part of his short at a studio in LA mid-October. And then we're shooting like 4 days straight in November for his. And that's like gonna be intense. And I'm doing like the makeup for his entire short, which I'm excited about. I wrote a script this year. I'm directing, but I'm also lead acting, which is really hard to do because I can't like look at the camera. So yeah, it's gonna be tricky, but it'll be fun. And that's like the spirit of it. It's, at least for me, it's just the fun. I'm not trying to like get into film festivals. Despite my chaotic schedule recently, I'm still giving myself time to work out. read, and I put down watch Buffy reruns, which is like a tradition of mine around Halloween, is I just rewatch Buffy episodes. I love that show. And Marina, I started block scheduling, and that's been actually really helping. So thank you for the suggestion. Finally, I've been giving it a shot.
I've had people suggest it to me for over a year before I really tried it. So like, I'm happy to help.
Yeah, it's been good. And then also, because it's just been hard for whatever reason for me to get clients, I'm continuing to apply for jobs online too, whether it's like part-time, full-time, just to like test the water, see what's out there, you know, even just have some conversations. So I applied for 4 jobs on Monday, and that's it. Those are my wins. Yep, yep. Sasha, do you want to tell us your pains and maybe some resources you're looking for right now? I know we talked a little bit about your pains earlier, but if there's anything you'd like to kind of add to that.
I think I covered that earlier in what I was looking for. I think I don't have anything else at the moment that I need. Also, I don't have much time to work on anything else other than that.
That makes sense.
So
Sometimes
if
how it is.
anything comes up,
Mhm.
yeah, if anything else I can think of, then I'll drop it in the chat. Anything changes, but for now, no.
I have a question for Sasha. I'm still thinking about what you were asking earlier. What kind of work do you do with Apple, or that you would like to do in the US?
I would like to get a job as a health coach in the US. And that is tricky for sponsorship because there are just so many coaches already that it's hard to justify for a company why they would hire me over an American and why they would sponsor me.
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I'm just interrupting. Are you originally from Germany? Like, what's your home country?
Yeah, Germany, unfortunately.
Okay. I have an idea. Okay.
What's your idea?
Oh, have you ever heard of the company Your Super?
Your Super?
Your Super. It's a vegan health supplement company. The owners are German, and I interviewed with them extensively. I almost worked for them. They didn't hire me, which is why I didn't work for them. but I was thinking, oh, maybe like I could try to connect you with them. And like, I don't know, they're German. They have headquarters in Santa Monica, but they have offices in Germany. So
can you send me a link from their website? I can look that up. And maybe a question for Tala, because she went through the interview process for such a job. When you were interviewing with Next Health, was this a position that they would open as an independent contractor or only as an employee?
I think they were open to it, actually. I think they would have potentially hired an independent contractor because they're growing quite a bit. So when I last left the conversation with them, it was obviously, like the pay for me, it wouldn't have made sense going from my current job to that. But they were open to like a partnership or something. So they might consider an independent contractor, because I know they're opening up a couple other locations. So I can always put you in touch with the health coach there, and you guys could have a conversation.
Okay. And with other companies in or around LA, or remote companies, have you seen more employee status or independent contract job positions for health coaches?
I think both. I would say more employee though. So yeah, I would say more probably employee based versus independent contractors.
Because that's something I'm currently trying to figure out with the visa is if this visa wouldn't allow me for employment, would it allow me work as an independent contractor?
Yeah, I was just Googling that, by the way. My other thing is, and I know it's kind of interesting because I'm like, I want to leave this company, but I do know our company does sponsor a lot of work visas. So they are in Orange County. They do have some remote positions. I don't know if that's something that you would consider working on now,
Yes.
seeing, and just say,
I don't know what they're hiring for. I don't know what the job is, but as long as it is remote, because we'll be in LA and not in anywhere else. And the commute seems daunting to down there. If they would sponsor for any kind of remote position, yes, I'm in.
the remote position would be hard. I know that for sure. Like it's more like if you're in their home office, but like yeah. It doesn't hurt to try it. Like I would still reach out to them and try, and I can connect you with people here.
Because the chances are, if the people
Do
we
you know
connect you with,
what your company's typically sponsoring?
What was that, Sasha?
Do you know what kind of visa they typically sponsor within your company?
Is it K1? Is that a work visa?
Probably. There's so many letters. I was just wondering if it's H1B or something else.
Oh, I definitely have heard H1 for sure.
Okay. Because that's kind of a lottery system and not a guarantee, and it takes forever right now. So just hope that they don't shut down the government, because that would put a hold on all our relocation procedures, because they don't work on visas if the government's shut down. But that's just a side note. Marina, what were you saying?
oh, just like with the power of networking, people love to help usually. So the chances are, if we connect you to someone, and like if Tala connects you to her company and they aren't the right fit, they might know someone who does something similar that could help you. Like just like the ripple effect of connecting.
Yeah, that would be great.
Kind of too, that I was also thinking, like, I don't know if you've reached out to everybody else that in the coaching or like in the training group that you and Tala were in. Have you followed up with all of them to kind of see like what they're all up to now, or if they might know some potential opportunities?
Yeah, this is such a helpful group of people. You can tell by Tala's face that I'm not joking. And when I look at what they're doing right now, some of them aren't even working in the field. Some of them transition so many times because they figured out, well, I can't do that. I can't find a job here. So now I'm doing something else. And every 3 months, she posts she's doing something different. But always super excited about what she's doing and super confident in what she's doing, and so successful and so great and blah, blah, blah. And 3 months later, she's not doing that anymore and doing something different.
It's a
So,
lot.
so no, I would say our group is not a resource for this.
I see.
Unless Tala has a different opinion, then please correct me.
No, that's accurate.
T.
Well, we will keep noodling on how to get Sasha to the US
Yeah.
with work.
We want you here.
Yes.
We are going to be a helpful resource group.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes, my goal.
No, I look into the U Super Marina and see if they can they can be an option.
The owners are, I don't keep in contact with them very close, but they were so kind. And so it's worth being
Which
connected.
is rare for Germans, by the way.
Right. And so wanted to work with them because of that. And it just didn't work out. I wasn't quite what they were looking for, but we had a good rapport. And so, I mean, I wouldn't even mind asking on your behalf, like, hey, like fellow German, do you have recommendations? Because they seem to be well established in the Santa Monica community. Like, that's what I mean about, like, maybe someone I know knows someone who knows someone, like,
Yeah.
so keep me posted.
Awesome. Thank you. Ladies, it was great talking to you, but I have to leave, and I will catch up with you later. Have fun.
Thanks for joining.
Bye. We love
Have a good
you.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Paula, Haynes, resources.
Let's see. Payne's kind of alluded to earlier this week. I just don't want to do anything. I literally, all I do is watch TV, work
Good.
out, and play stupid homescapes on my phone because I keep getting a fucking ad for it. And so I downloaded it. And I was like, what is this stupid game?
I played that for a while. You'll grow to hate it. And
Is
then
it
you won't
fun?
play it anymore.
It's literally a knockoff of Candy Crush, which I used to be addicted to. And I was like on level 500 until I fucking deleted it. And so now I'm like, this is amazing. And then they're like, oh, these puzzles. I'm like, I don't care about it. Give me the freaking game.
Yeah, I wanted to do the puzzles, and that's why I got mad at that game.
Me too.
But Tala, that's a win that you are not wanting to do anything and then you're letting yourself not do anything.
It's really hard.
It sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like, I don't know how many times I would say to my therapist, like, I just don't feel like doing anything. She was like, so what's the harm in not doing anything? That means your brain really, really needs that rest.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying. I think that's like the biggest hurdle right now is I'm trying to utilize this opportunity. And I had my appointment with my psychiatrist yesterday, and he's like, should we consider doing like more therapy? So I'm going to talk to my therapist today, just because like I do want to get better sooner. And a huge fear is, amazing, I'm taking this time off to like learn the skills that I need to handle certain emotions. And I haven't even reprocessed the trauma. Like that is after this program. So to me, there's going to be shit ton of things that surface. And I feel like that's when the work is really that's going to drain me. So, and I think I have like just definitely imposter syndrome also around health coaching. And I just feel like I know we're all rationally, I understand we're all trying to figure things out. No one's perfect, but I think that's a little hard. So I'm not feeling like super productive, and I want to utilize that time. I would say emotionally, that's probably the biggest pain for me emotionally. And then for my website, I think figuring out how to schedule, like how to have people schedule workouts is going to be my next thing. I don't know if it's just like doing Calendly, or maybe just have people talk to me. And like, I do want to, because if I get clients and they're going to have certain times of the day where they can meet, like I want to make sure my workout classes. So I don't know if that's just going to evolve on its own, and just, I need to set times that work for me. And so.
Yeah, I think are you expressing, can I offer
Oh, yes.
response? I'm like all ready to solve all the world's problems. So you can tell me that you just want me to listen. I think that's something I struggled with too, was like how to anticipate calendars. And I think just as you start, what will be most helpful is setting block time. Like, okay, I know at 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. I'm offering these classes, and I will take coaching calls at like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. And you can like, as you get clients, you can work around your schedule and completely like change it. But having those options, so, because I think when you give clients too many options of like, oh yeah, what works for you, that's when they get a little flakier and less likely to commit, because it's like, oh, 3 p.m. I can do 3 p.m. and that's their time slot. So I think,
I think that's a really good point, because that's what I was thinking too. I was like, oh, my workout classes, they don't give you that many options and you make it work. Like if you want to show up, like you will make it work. So I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah. And if you're seeing that like no one can come to the 2 p.m., that's when you're like, hey, I'm actually transitioning. It's going to be a 4 p.m. and a 6 p.m. Like, I think it's helpful to set a loose starting structure and then go with the flow.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my writing sprints too, where I was like, oh, COVID is, everyone's getting vaccinated. No one's coming on Friday nights anymore. Got it. So yeah. Also, imposter syndrome is real and it's terrible. And I can't fix that, although I would like to. But if you would like me to send you love notes about how you helped me as a health coach, I will. In fact, you don't get a choice. I'm doing that.
I have to send you your love note. Actually, I'm going to write that today. Thanks for reminding me.
That was so sweet. I like, one of the things that I'm actually trying to like figure out with myself as a friend to do better is like, I'm oftentimes like, what works best for me doesn't always work for everyone else, you know? And so sometimes I'm like, oh my God, ideas. And then I have to reel that shit back. So, do you want to be challenged at all?
No, I've noticed I don't. Like that's the thing is like, I got so, and I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time, but I got so anxious thinking about going to work, and the fact that like I do thrive on structure, but also right now I'm like, I don't know if I need structure or want structure. Like I'm already physically challenging myself, where like Alex and I are going bouldering together. So that's been a really great challenge. Highly recommend it, you guys. Kicks my ass. But that fear and that flow, I really enjoy. And then we signed up for a Tough Mudder together. But to add more shit mentally, I was like, I don't know if that's what I need. And that's kind of what I keep struggling with. You know, it's like, I want a challenge, I want to push through, but I've been pushing through my whole life. And I'm noticing things that are surfacing up. Like I'm having really insane dreams again about things that's why I'm also scared about the trauma work I'm gonna have to do in a few months. So I would love to hear your challenge, but like I don't know if I want to do it. And that's such a shitty thing for me to say.
But it's honest.
That's not shitty.
I know judgment. I know. I'm working on that too in therapy.
Nobody wants a challenge. Let's see. If you're like, hey, would you like to do something hard or would you like to not do something hard? Everyone's gonna pick not something hard.
I'm
screaming.
For me, it helps me to be challenged sometimes, because then I'm like, here's a perspective that maybe makes me feel uncomfortable, but I know could possibly help me through this situation, you know?
Like the accountability thing I loved with the meditation, but I haven't fucking showed up. I wake my ass up and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna work out. I don't meditate. Like I'm not doing what I want. Like, but I want to wake up at 6, 7, own the morning, work out, do all these things. And right now I'm just like, fuck, all I want to do is sleep.
Sleep. Your brain, I mean, as a board certified maker-upper of things, I think you need the sleep. You need the sleep. It's like hibernation. Like you need to like bears need to hibernate so they survive the winter. Like maybe you're just being a bear right now.
That is true. I don't mind being a bear.
I was gonna say Kelly. I was trying to mix Kelly and challenge. Kelly, what I found is that I like challenges that are faked into encouragement. Like instead of saying like, well, I challenge you to do this, I like it when people are like, well, I encourage you to do this. It's like, then it makes it my idea.
Yeah.
Monica, are you laughing at me?
Yeah.
Really funny. And I really have been trying to work on it. I actually get this from my mom, and it's been sometimes a problem in my relationship, even with Ryan. And those I'm closest to, it starts to come out more often where I'm like, here's an idea, or have you tried this? And people don't always want that. And so I'm trying to learn how to be more respectful and mindful of that and approach it in a different way. I
Just
will
pay
say,
our
since
bills, it's much appreciated. It's not like, I think we all are such givers and helpers. So, like, I totally appreciate that. And it's just trial and error. I think it's figuring out what those things work. Like right now, maybe that accountability for meditation isn't working, but in a month it might.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, I think to Marina's point too, it's like, maybe your mind is truly saying I need rest, but maybe, you know, just like, I think on the other side of it too, maybe you're also experiencing some challenges as well, just like food for thought. Like, I don't know, maybe you're right. Maybe that you're looking for some kind of balance too of, maybe I need to figure out what structure is going to work for me right now. And that might be the pain point, is like, what does that look like? And since you guys were talking about like phone games, I was on a Sims binge, and
Love Sims. Miss
I
Sims.
had to stop. And now I'm block scheduling and I'm not playing Sims, and that's helping quite a bit.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
real. And that's the thing too. Last thing I'll say is that's my avoidance and distraction. And I realized that's what I did years ago when my ex-boyfriend and I broke up in college. I didn't go to class and I watched a shit ton of TV because I had to disassociate from my pain. So I'm trying to figure out healthier ways.
Yeah. And as your friend, since I know you've shared those things with me too, there's a part of me that's like, is there a way that, like, having that information, is there a way I can be more encouraging and like also check in on you? But also it's like, it's not my journey. And I don't want to piss you off. Hi, baby. Hello, little baby. So yeah, that's why I texted you the other day. I was like, I hope I didn't like piss her off somehow, because I want to make sure that I'm really respecting those kind of processing boundaries, you know?
No, I'm super appreciative of that. And I think we're all like, we're all going through shit. And I realized I was like totally just pulling back from everyone. And I just needed a moment. But I appreciated you checking in and be like, are we okay? It's like, we're good. I'm just in a weird headspace.
Yeah.
So, but thanks, y'all.
Love you. Let us know if there's anything we can do for you.
Thank you. Just website. I'll send that in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Send your website in.
Monica. Hey.
Monica.
I pretty much alluded to my pains earlier, just, continuing to figure out how to communicate boundaries to clients. Also just trying to figure out when to let go of a, potential client if it becomes clear, right, that it's not the best fit, or at least not the best fit right now. So that's one pain or consideration that I'm dealing with. The other thing that's like really bothered me this week is this is going to sound really stupid, but I have Overdrive downloaded on my phone, and that's how I read all my ebooks. And normally it's just linked to my library account. And I guess somehow enough time has passed that they just logged me out, and it's driving me crazy because I can't find my library card, so I don't know what my account number is. and the library keeps sending me these notifications like, laziness does not exist, is now available. I'm just like, I want to read that book right now. But I cannot. So it's not a big pain point, but I think I'm just going to go back to the Hollywood apartment and take one more look to see if I can find the library card. But yeah, I think there's I think maybe like why I'm so bothered by seeing all these books come in and not being able to access them is because I feel like I need to continue to like sharpen my business toolkit and if I can't read those books, then it feels like I'm not doing that.
So I think something that Alex and I always talk about is friction. And it's like these little things are friction that prevent you from your goal. So you're like, okay, I can't get my library card, so I can't get my books to read. And then you spend all this time trying to do the things to get to your end goal that it's like amazing. I just wasted 5 hours trying to get there and you're so tired, right? So I think what's been helpful is, okay, this is taking way too much time. Like, let's say 30 minutes. You're like, it's not worth it. Like, time is money. And at that point, I mean, I understand, resources are super tight, but maybe it's like, okay, maybe I just buy the book for $15 at this point because I want to just read it. And that's worth it because it's an investment in my business rather than wasting or feeling like you're wasting 5 hours. So maybe if there's like an alternative way, because those little things do add up and then they make us frustrated and they drain our energy for that time that we end up being, all right, finally, I was able to get my laptop, do this, do that, plug in, like change the battery, all this shit. And it's 12 o'clock and I'm exhausted. So I don't know if that's helpful, but.
No, it is helpful. And I think, something that you said earlier about how you were realizing that watching TV and playing, what's it called? Roomscapes? Homescapes is your avoidance or distraction, right? It's like in the same vein. It's like, I am like, oh, I want to read all these books about productivity or laziness or habit change. But, like that time that I'm, quote unquote, educating myself, it's like I could spend that time writing a blog post about what I'm learning through my own like lived experience. And so I just need to get honest with myself about what I'm avoiding and how I'm avoiding it, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for talking me through that. I feel like I went through some career therapy just now.
Well, another thing too, might help is like, I have a diary card for my therapy where it says like, my target behavior is avoiding work. And so it'll be like, yes or no. And then the urge, but maybe you can like tally also, like I have a social media tally because that's also part of my avoidance. So if you see it, I don't know if that might help you, but if you see how many times you're like, okay, when I do this, I distract myself with social media, or I'm avoiding work, I'm trying to do this, that might also just help put to light. Because I think like abstract, we're like, oh yeah, I know I distract myself. But when you actually see it, you're like, oh shit, I went on social media like 15 times today for what? I played Homescapes for 2 hours. What the fuck?
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Marina.
Okay, I would just like to say that we're all completely normal because we're all doing this. One, we can blame the patriarchy for this. It's definitely the patriarchy's fault. And two, I too am trying to be a better friend in that, like Kelly, where I'm like trying to respect boundaries, but you know that when I have too much coffee and I think about how much I love you all, I'm just like, I can fix this. So you can tell me anytime to calm my tits and I won't be offended. I'm also sweating because I have really bad cramps. So I had a heating pad on, but I had all this coffee and so like chaos. It's chaos. It's fine. What are we talking about? Our pain points and resources. I think pain points for me are, thank you, Tala. Pain points for me are kind of what I was alluding to earlier, just like mental health and fear, like similarly to you guys, like avoidance, fear about my business. I feel overwhelmed a lot, but I'm currently this morning feeling like I'm in a pretty good place of managing it because I'm back home. I'm practicing like grounding things like, okay, I'm going to talk with my business group and girlfriends, and that's like grounding. And I'm sitting out in the main house and things like that. I've had I visited my stepbrother in their new hometown in New York, and it's a beautiful town, like a mix of my childhood town and the like place we go every summer in New England. And I was just like, oh my God, do I want to live here? And it's like, no, because I don't like East Coasters. I like them from afar, but I don't, it's like also a very white, very preppy, very bougie town. And I'm like, that's not interesting to me. But it made me spiral into this panic because the amount of wealth there is so insane. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like these houses, these cars, these like yacht club memberships. And I freaked out and I was like, oh my God, I like barely have money that I'm bringing, like had all these like business fears because I've been in this temporary space where I'm not like actively seeking new clients and I feel like I'm not doing enough. Anyway, big spiral, a lot of mind gremlins. But I am taking a step back from Instagram was really helpful because I'm not comparing and feeling like I should be doing things, and just the block scheduling is helping. And I'm just reminding myself not to like put all my eggs in the moving to LA basket, but once I move to LA, I will be grounded. I will be putting roots down, and I will feel less in transition where I'm not running around all over the place, because I'm going like on Tuesday, I drive to LA, I stay in LA for a week, and then I come back and 2 days later, fly back to the East Coast for another wedding. And then I come back, and these trips back East really knock me out, like mentally and physically, emotionally. And I'm actually considering not going back for Christmas. But earlier I was like, I'm going to go back for 2 weeks. I'm going to see everyone. And like, I don't want to do that.
Mm-mm.
I want to spend time with my brother in his apartment in New York, but like, I don't want to haul ass around New York and Philly and all these things. And I'm still feeling hurt that like, okay, in 2021, I will have flown home 5 times and no one comes to see me. And I feel like I'm always the one disrupting my life and putting myself on hold to make everyone else happy. And I haven't talked to my therapist in a couple of weeks because of all this travel. So I got some stuff to work out with her too. But anyway, those are my pain points of just a lot of processing emotions and figuring out what I want and what I think I'm allowed to have versus like what I'm telling myself, yeah, I'm allowed to have this. And so I, like Kelly, or no, thank you, Kelly. Tala, I get that like avoidance. I don't want to do anything. Like that was where I was for a long time, and I'm still there like 8 times out of the week, and I just don't do anything in those moments. Not to say that's what you should or should not do, but I think I've been just like trying to ask myself, what do I want? Never learned how to do that one. There was a structure to what I was talking about, but
You were talking about how you are feeling conflicted. You want to keep spending time with family, but you're feeling like in the process that it's just becoming harder on you.
mm-hmm. Because yeah, everyone gets to have their own life, and I'm just the one bending over, and it's always been that way, and I don't want it to be that way anymore. And so I'm kind of trying to reconcile, like, I chose to move away, so there will be times when I need to fly back, but I don't need to fly back every month. And I think because COVID created such chaos, like I wouldn't normally fly back 5 times a year. I'm trying to remind myself that, but yeah, I can't wait to see Tipu. Tell him I'm coming. But yeah, I think being in LA, oh, it's Momo.
Aww.
Tell him I'm coming too. I think being in LA will really help me because I'll be back with like you guys closer, and we can have like Tala's Halloween party next year. And I want to have like fancy girls nights where you come in fancy clothes, but then we just drink shitty wine. or vice versa. Shitty clothes and nice wine can be there. But yeah, pain points are a lot of fear and impostery around how am I going to support myself, but also I'm reminding like Kelly, like I plan on getting like an anchor job when I move. Like I would love to work at a bookstore. I've never worked at a bookstore. I would love those bookstore discounts. And also that's a way for me to be in my community. So just trying to like go through the feelings and like acknowledge them and write them down. And when I have big asks, I will ask the group. And yeah, thank you for listening to that. I think I just needed to talk to some friends.
I think we all did.
Can I just say that like where you were a year ago and where you are now is incredible. Not just like is like your environment, like you are moving towards your dream of going back to LA. Your business though, you've completely taken it to a whole, like you're getting more and more direction as each day passes. And I know it's hard, but you're getting there and you have a plan to move forward. And I also just wanted to say that I think resources wise, I'm happy to do our health coaching again if you want. When I get back to New York.
Maybe in November. Let's revisit this in November. October, I've canceled all things. Oh, I want to hear what you have to say, Tala, but I just remembered a win. I just joined a creative, it's called Create to Commune. It's a creative community group for 6 months of like creative coaching to help me like foster my creativity during this transitionary period. So I forgot, I just joined that yesterday. It starts tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Love that.
So.
By the way, what's the update on your essay?
I submitted it.
Cool.
They said they may respond within 5 weeks.
That's still a win.
Yeah, and I'm
Love it.
I have another I didn't write this, but my friend sent me this New York Times essay and I'm gonna like mimic it for fun. Like I'm finding all these, and this is what quitting Instagram for 1 week has done for me. Like I'm finding all these ideas and like, I haven't yet made time for them, but I'm like, oh, I could do this and this would be a fun exercise. Like my creative brain is turning back on now that I'm not zombieing it for a little bit. But thank you for asking.
That social media tunnel vision is real.
I think what I'm going to do, I had my Instagram and social media timer set for 15 minutes a day. And I think that's like not quite enough time to do what I want to do. So I schedule all my posts on later, which is really helpful. And I think I'm going to change my timer to 30 minutes so that I can do all the things I want to do and then be done with it and not feel so attached. I also deleted, this is helpful. I deleted the app from my home screen, but not from my phone. So I can still access it, but it's not there. I recommend trying that for some of your trigger apps, homescapes, and to see, because that was helpful, like these little hacks. Yeah. Okay, Tala, thank you. You were saying nice things to me. Please continue.
Well, one other thing I was gonna to just like commend you on is you moved out to LA away from everyone. You don't owe it to anyone to visit if you want to. And I think just so you realize that is a massive, massive strength. And sometimes like setting those boundaries end up opening up so many opportunities for you, as I'm learning in therapy. Like, sorry, I'm drinking my coffee now, so I'm waking up.
I'm feeling like I'm high. It's fine.
But like people will push back, but at some point they'll learn and respect you, and it's so scary, but just practicing like the small little things will allow you. So it's like, if you say no, they're like, shit, like I want to see Marina, so I'm going to have to make an effort to come out for the holidays or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Also, I would very much, if y'all are open to doing like a Friendsgiving in LA, like I'm just letting y'all know my schedule is chaotic until mid-November. Like no joke. So Let's figure it out.
Yeah. Even if we did like a post Thanksgiving, like, I don't know, I'm into this. I'll come down.
Holiday giving.
Tala, can I stay at your house?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Can I stay in your bed with you and Alex sleeps in the guest room?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Do I have boundaries? Yes. Do I listen to them? No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny. As I like immediately say, hey, let's hang out. I know you are wanting time for yourself, but let's all get together.
But that's a November timeframe. That's 2 months. Tala might want to hang out with us in 2 months.
Also, it's a West Coast hangout, not an East Coast hangout.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's just like fascinating. I think there's something really interesting about moving away or moving, like, I don't know. I took the train from Philly to New York and then the subway. And I was like, I haven't been in the subway for 5 years. And this is something I used to ride every day. And I looked around and I was like, I'm like so different. And it was just interesting. But I've done a lot of talking and I would like to not talk anymore. But I have lost track to whose turn it is.
So last Friday, I had my IG live event to launch my programs. And that was hard because that was my first time, I feel like, really putting myself in a very clear, organized way out there. And I knew it was a possibility that nobody would show up for the live. And the only person that did, just to be like honest, was my sister-in-law. And I reached out to her afterwards. I was like, hey, like, I appreciate you showing up. Like, that was so embarrassing. And it really hurt my feelings. She like didn't, she just wasn't checking with the tone, right? Like she just wasn't there. And her response was, oh, I just was on while I was doing something else and I didn't even have the sound on. I don't know why she said that. And it just made it all the more worse. And, my mom checked in with me later in the day and she knew I'd been working a lot on these programs. And she had like liked a bunch of my posts and the video. And then her response to me was like, good luck tomorrow. Like, isn't that when your IG live is? I'm like, no, you liked the video of the IG live. And I didn't say that really, but it's like, oh, so you just liked my content. You just didn't pay attention to it. And that's been like a struggle in my relationship with her over the years, where I feel like she's trying to be supportive in her own way, but she's not necessarily listening. So Friday, I was really hurt. And that was my biggest struggle, is like putting a lot of energy into this, and frankly, like putting a lot of energy into something that was a couple weeks later than I should have. I should have been rolling this out in a lot more of an organized way. So that's like the learning opportunity in it. Or, frankly, maybe it's just programs that people are not interested in. So it's like, it is a learning experience. It's, I think, valuable for me to like concretely like organize some structure, for like potential marketing coaching if somebody down the road is interested. But that was really hard. And basically Friday, after that text conversation with my mom, I'm like, I'm done. I'm checked out. Fuck everyone. Like, not like, I'm not mad at y'all, just like collectively, like I just was really depressed. I drank a lot of whiskey. I got high. I was like, I am tuning everything out. And I don't typically do that. So, but Saturday was better. I started working on my shoot with Brian then. Kind of other struggles, like nobody has expressed interest in the program yet, which I also knew was a possibility, and why on Monday I immediately just started applying for other jobs. I'm like, all right, this isn't working. So it's been a struggle back and forth where I'm like, what do I need to do to get myself out there, and what feels right for me? And it's just been a real struggle over the last several months of knowing where to and how to connect with people, and like with COVID, like what I'm comfortable with. I'm now starting to consider like actually going to like community meetups, business meetups. But I've been apprehensive to it because it's a lot of people in Orange County and some mixed vaccination stuff that I just don't want to get into. I've just been apprehensive of, or I guess uncertain if it's the right call for me. Also, my hair's falling out, probably because of stress. Like lately, the last few weeks, my hair trap has just been collecting so much more hair, and I think I'm stressed. I think I might need some more vitamin D. I've heard that's like a thing too. I'm taking vitamins, and I'm getting exercise and things in. Maybe I'm just not eating completely well, but my hair has been falling out. And it's just like the next month or so, like now, last week until mid-November, it's just going to be really crazy. So it's going to be really important that I like stick to that block scheduling and keeping tabs on myself. But it might be helpful, like I'm not asking y'all to check on me all the time, but like if you wouldn't mind even just like texting me, or if you call me out of the blue, or we figure out some time, like I think that I would appreciate that, because I'm just like I'm in functioning mode. I'm on the struggle bus and I'm trying to manage the struggle bus, and I'm sad. But I'm trying to also be optimistic and accept that this is like all part of the process for my journey at the moment. So that's where I'm at.
May I ask you also, because it totally slipped my mind for your IGTV, like if you have events, like I'm happy to show up and just like do it. And so I probably should have put it in my calendar, but like, it's okay. Like, I don't mind just showing up to show up and support you. Like I would love to do that. And I think we all would. So just shoot us a text when you have that. Be like, hey guys, my event, like you're not asking a ton of us. Like it's not demanding.
And I think to piggyback communally, all of us can do that when we're posting on social media. Like I'm in another business group that I co-work with on Mondays. And when one of the women who's doing the creative commune thing, when she posts a reel that isn't getting the traction, she'll just come in and be like, hey guys, no one's looking at my reel in my audience. Do you mind just like liking it? And I think that's something we could all do for each other, because I know I get in my own head when I'm posting on Instagram and I'm like, I thought this was great, and no one, and like, I forget that I can be like, hey guys, just go like it. So yeah, let's be bodies in the crowd for each other, because we will listen to the content we're sharing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I think there was a part of me where it's like, I'm literally like blasting this all week long. And, you know, if nobody's showing up, that's also like a sign of like, maybe this is just not the information that people want.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part of me that struggles with like, I don't know, I feel like I'm reaching out And I don't always like asking for things, and maybe that's something that I can just be more mindful of in this too, when I do really, you know, it would really mean a lot to me. Um, yeah.
And I wonder too, like Instagram is being, I don't know how to say it. Instagram is being a dick. So I wonder too, if,
Zach.
if you, the information's there, but maybe it's the vehicle, like maybe, I don't know, I've been off of it for a week and I feel both relieved and also like very lost at the, like what's going on in the outside world, because I'm realizing that's where I got all my information. And so, yeah, maybe, I don't know, this was meant to be a helpful commentary, but like every time I've read your content or listened to your content, I always learn something.
No.
But as like for me in my like journey of Instagram, I noticed, and this is why I took a break, I wasn't absorbing, I was just scrolling like for that dopamine hit.
Totally.
And I wasn't absorbing information, which is why I was like, okay, I need to do it. So maybe it's the vehicle.
And too, like if you want us, because I'm really bad at like sharing things, especially on my personal account, like I'll do it because anyway, I just don't share like business things on my personal account as much. But if you want us to share things, like this is a group to do that. And like, I know it might seem really obvious, like, well, yeah, just share this, share that. But it's like, things just slip my mind, slip my mind. Exactly. So, but seriously, like you want us to join in on your IGTV. Like, I know I'm going to be asking you guys to do shit like that, but I will say a huge win is you have that video out there and it's on your account.
Yeah.
Also, I have a couple of friends who do different IG lives, and if it's helpful to know, almost all of them have expressed like, yeah, I get like 2 to 10 people joining, and then I get a lot more engagement like after when it's static. So it could be that people just don't like being live, but they like the content.
Yeah, my thinking was like, because this is more of like a presentation versus just like me doing an activity, like I feel like a lot of the IGTVs that I see are like the person having a conversation with somebody, or they're doing like a process of like a hobby or whatever they do as a living. Or it's like kind of like a Zoom, like like presenting something. And so I thought, well, I'm really blasting this as kind of like a alternative to Zoom that people can just easily hop in. I'm not having to like send out a link or whatever. And this is where I'm finding the most growth in my followers on platforms. So it seems like a decent enough way to connect with people. Like, one thing is that is a win, is like initially before I started really implementing like a consistent plan for my social media, I was like really struggling to get more than like a couple new followers a week. And I was like on the trajectory of not getting to like 100 followers, which gives me more demographics and things like that, age range and that kind of information, until like maybe January. And I'm already over 100 now. So in like basically a month or so, yeah, like a month, in like 4 weeks, I was able to get to the follower numbers I needed to get more information on people who are interested in my content. And so like that's a win. It's just, I need money. I feel like that's my struggle. Like every time we're on the phone, I'm like, I'm trying to do all the things and it's frustrating. So, I'm gonna ask you to unmute. Looks like you want to say something.
Are you unmuting me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I did have a thought. Kelly, do you have an email list?
Yeah. And I know that's something I should be implementing.
Because I
I
was just,
sent out an email for the program.
okay, maybe I'm not on your email list because I was thinking
I
about,
put you on there. I think it was your Gen 20 email.
oh yeah, then I don't check that often.
No.
I'll sign up with my, because I only do Gen 20 stuff on Mondays, so I only check it on Mondays because I'm trying to be better about time management. I will join it with my writing email. But I was thinking about that, like, how do I attend things that are on Instagram or like events? And I realize it's when I get emailed, then I immediately put it into my calendar. So maybe it's like you're doing all this great blasting, but maybe there's like a cross venue of like, what is it where I'm trying to think, like it's a good way to mix media where you're like, hey, come to my Instagram. And then, hey, Twitter, come to my Instagram. And hey, emails, come to my Instagram. Like maybe it's you need like a wider reach for people who aren't always on Instagram. I don't know. I was just thinking about my habits as a viewer. Like, what do I do? And I was like, oh, I immediately calendar things when I get emailed about them. So
yeah, I did send an email out, but it was like a day before the IG live. And again, it was like all stuff I was trying to like rush to get done. So again, hindsight, like if I ever do something like this again, I would definitely plan it out differently. I just don't know if I'm going to do it again. So we'll see.
Yeah, Kelly, I think, well, I think it is really, really brave to put yourself out on such a like vulnerable platform like Instagram Live. And I've done it a couple of times, and yeah, it's always really like, you feel like a loser when it's like one person, like one little like eyeball, right? Like is in the corner of your window. And but I do like what Marina was saying before, like a lot of people, they view the content later. And I think what like works for you is that like now you have that like that video content, it's saved to your profile, and you can always go back to it. You can continue to plug it. I did receive your email before your IG live. I read it, and just kind of like thinking about what other people do when they market it. It's like they continue to like blast you afterwards, like, hey, like, you know, like in case you missed it, and then like, you know, share it again and again. And I think we just have to remind ourselves that like people need to be exposed to our marketing messages at least like 7 to 10 times before it even begins to sink in. So I don't think any of your hard work is for naught. I think you know, you can just continue to like build off of that. And I think it can feel really demoralizing at the outset, but I think you did the hardest thing, which was coming up with those programs and beginning to message around that content. I think that like when your IG audience is still fairly small, one of the things that I focused on personally was trying to share audiences with other people. So like you were saying, like, oh, you notice that a lot of people typically use the IG live format. They are having conversations with other people. They are, or they're, you know, like filming themselves doing like their hobby or whatever it is that they're known for. Yeah, I would say like maybe like think of ways to play with the programs that you've just created, and then maybe pull somebody into that conversation as like a second like IG live that kind of like builds on what you've created. So you could perhaps use an IG live as like like you can demonstrate what coaching, like marketing coaching would look like with
Yeah.
you. So, and then in that way, like you're pulling in somebody else who has an audience, right? And their followers will see like, oh, hey, Monica's in an IG live, and then they'll like click in. And if they hear something that is relevant to them, like they'll stick around, they'll start following you. Like that's definitely what I saw when I did my IG live conversations. It's like, yeah, there'd only be like a couple of people watching, but they'd be people who are completely new to me, and then afterwards they follow me. So I think like in the first test run, it's great that you like did it on your own. That's like, I don't know that I would ever have been brave enough to do that.
I had like a presentation because I was like, I don't know if people are going to even show for that reason. So that way it was just something for me to focus on and walk through, because otherwise I just would have been visibly sad.
You have the hardest part, which is the content. Like, and what I've noticed on so many accounts, it's the same content, just like cycled every like 30 days. So you have that.
Yeah.
And that's truly the hardest part, I think. And you obviously put your, like, what have we told Sasha, right? And Sasha, if you're watching this, like you did it, you freaking did it. You put your IGTV. And also when I did my Girl Don't Sweat It event, I probably would have had 0 people show up if it weren't for my nieces and them bugging their friends. So like, let's be honest.
I mean, let's just be real. Like Instagram works for a certain personality, but for like people like me, it's mortifying. I hate putting myself out there, but like if you choose this to be like the route you take, you kind of just have to like pretend that everybody is watching. You know, like just pretend you're Chrissy Teigen and like everyone like is like waiting to hear what you're going to say next. And you know, if it reaches one new person that didn't know about you yesterday, then like that is a win. And I think, yeah, we just have to continue to remind ourselves that like social media, like how can we really like leverage it, right? Because like social media, like you want, it's all about the network, right? It's all about the posting, the sharing. And so like think about how you can cross-pollinate audience that you some that exist on an email list, some that exist you know, like through Facebook, some that exist like different groups, right? Like how they hear about you. Continue to kind of like market to all those different groups to bring them onto Instagram, or try to capture the content so that you could like post it on your blog or post it on like Facebook as a separate like piece of content. And yeah, I love the idea of all of us kind of like reposting each other's reels and stuff like that. I don't know if Marina's still on the call, but she
had to go.
Like it's just I feel like she's just been like so helpful, like just reposting things that I've created, even if it doesn't feel like 100% aligned with her business and her content. But like I think that if you have a business account on Instagram, there's a high likelihood that there are a lot of other businesses that are, you know, that are following you. And so just like sharing other small business owner content is like, it's always like, it never feels like uber random, right? So yeah, I'm happy to like repost your videos. And yeah, so I think I'm making a mental note to do more than just like the content, which I do. I love it. But really to try to like summarize it and share it with my audience.
I really appreciate that. And I don't, I don't want to ask too much from people because I also know, like, even for myself, like, I am very intentional about the type of content I'm sharing because I want it to be relevant to my audience and like the information they're looking for. And so I hate, like, I don't know, I just don't like asking those kinds of things, but it's absolutely appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's uncomfortable to ask for those things, but yeah, I loved what Marina shared about the people.
You kind of cut out. Shoot. Oh
Uh-oh.
no. She
I was
left.
also gonna say, I don't know if you tried Eventbrite, but doing like an event there, and maybe it's like a $10 workshop and see who signs up, because you can tag what
Yeah.
your content is and people will actually like search for that.
Right.
And then that's actually where, I don't know if you were able to log in or if you had time for that coach space thing. They did it through Eventbrite, and you can do a presentation through Zoom. So people go to a Zoom link and then you can just put it in presentation format. And so their face is there in the corner, but they also have like a deck that they're going through, and just try it out and see like if that format might be better. You can
Yeah.
literally present the same exact thing. Like, just try it out.
I feel like just knowing where the marketing space is right now, like the time of year, it seemed like this truly was like the last kind of haul to get like some clients in. So I'm going to be focusing my energies more, like I'm seeing more positions pop up, whether they're part-time or full-time. And that's where my energy is going to be going, I think, in like meeting people probably in person, just because I'm still new to Orange County. I don't have much of a network out here, and I do need to develop that as well. And like, who
You've
knows?
been
I
doing
could
this less than a year. Can I remind you this? Like,
a year. It's been over a year.
has it
It's
already?
in
But
July.
oh, it's true. But still, like, you've been doing it for such a like a little amount of time, and yet all this other
Oh, the
shit.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wait, you haven't done the business for a year.
I moved down here last
Yeah,
July.
yeah.
But
So
yeah.
like you've done so much, and like it's all a learning curve. So try to be gentle. If the roles were a switch, what would you be telling us? Just remember that. You wouldn't be like, you suck, do better.
Yeah.
I know that you wouldn't say that.
Well,
And if you did, then that's not nice.
yeah, I'd be a serious bitch. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think after, I don't know. I think it's a number of things. It's just I'm tired of relying on my husband for financial resources.
Yeah.
And that was something that I just spoke really candid with my mom the other day on too. It's just like, I'm really grateful to have that gift and that luxury when that was needed and has been needed, but I don't want to live off of his trust fund.
Yeah.
I want to be able to totally contribute, and he's not putting pressure on us like I am.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you are.
I want to feel like I'm doing more to contribute. That makes me feel good.
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, if the roles were switched, right? Like, we're in very similar situations. So think about what you would be telling me. Less judgment on yourself. I know it's hard. It's really hard. But be gentle on yourself, because you are doing a lot. And you're pivoting, right? You're constantly figuring out. And also, as your health coach hat, I know that there's just certain things that you like to pivot pretty quickly on. So be a little gentle.
I'm like, this hasn't been working for like a week. Okay, bye. Like,
Well, we're all here to hold you accountable. So
Thanks.
I have to hop off because I have therapy in a little bit, but
Good luck today.
yeah, I'll check in on you for sure. I'll shoot you a text.
Good luck with your session today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you the next month.
I think it's too much.
Right? Life is like, hey, let's slow this down and then hit you like a ton of bricks with this. Well, I love you. I'll talk to you later.
Oh my God. I just saw a clip from BuzzFeed. Shakir was attacked by wild boars. What?
I need to look this up. Shakira says her handbag was stolen by a gang of wild boars in Barcelona.
What?
Asa, if you're watching this, are you the wild boar? Did you steal Shakira's handbag? Oh, so
Oh my
funny.
God. Okay, on that note, bye. I love you.
Love you.